Here's another video for the record books of gold. 1 ton gold shipment into Hong Kong revealed to contain just worthless metal. Now what's interesting about this is, you know the old saying, and don't ever forget the old saying ever. If you don't hold it physically, you don't own it. If someone else is holding it for you, I got a warehouse receipt, it says it. You don't own it. However, how does one take 1 ton of gold from one country and bring it to another country? You can't hold it. You're going to have to like fly it in or send it on a ship, right? Okay. Once again, thanks to Zero Hedge. 2 years ago, stories of fake tungsten-filled gold coins and bars began to spread, which, by the way, was in the Webbot reports prior to that happening. It appears between the shortage of physical gold after Asian central bank buying and the increase in smuggling courtesy of India's controls, among others, that gold fraud is back on the rise. A mainland China businessman discovered that $270 million, maybe Hong Kong dollars, I'm not sure which dollars, of 1 kilo, 1,000 kilogram of gold bars he bought in Ghana somehow had been swapped for non-precious metals bars. What is perhaps even more worrisome, given the probe into commodity financing deals and the rehypothecation evaporation, so to speak, or we're taking this gold, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Hoping Peter's not looking right now. That's what they're talking about. These gold bars were shipped to a Chinese warehouse before this man was able to confirm the fraud. So when they were loading them up, it looked fine. Somewhere between that and then it went to a Chinese warehouse and then to him, somewhere in that process, the bars were swapped out, most of them, with just plain metal bars. Not even coated in gold, apparently. Just the outside bars remained there, so at first glance it looks like they're all there. So what do we got here? He opened his shipment in front of his buyer. So he had a buyer in Hong Kong. He made the deal and discovered that the gold had been switched for worthless metal. A senior officer said it would be the city's biggest heist in a decade if it was confirmed that all the gold had been stolen. An initial inquiry showed that he purchased 1,000 kilogram of gold bars from a company in Ghana in mid-April, police said. The consignment in 14 cases was escorted by his staff and delivered from Ghana on a chartered flight last month. Officers were told that his employee confirmed the cases contained the gold before it was loaded onto the chartered flight in Ghana. So you don't suppose that this flight was Flight 370 or anything? No? I was just checking. No, it wasn't. The source said that the employee left Hong Kong after the consignment was handed to the staff of a logistics company at Czech Lapkok Airport. It was then couriered to a warehouse. Too many hands in the middle of that. You can only go from A to B. And when it goes, if I have a ton of gold that I'm responsible for, I'm going to be there checking the gold. Okay, it's pure, it's there. We're going to load it on that plane. I'm going to be standing there watching every piece, every box, every case go into that plane. I'm then going to see, is anyone able to get on this plane where these cases are? No? Okay, I'm getting on the plane now. And we're going to fly to wherever this sucker's going. Going to make a little pit stop. I'll be there on that plane. That back, or wherever they put the cargo on, whatever type of plane it was, will not be opened ever. Unless one of these other countries that we're landing in decides they have to see it. Which, again, I will stand there and watch them. Yep, it's gold. It's a done deal. Made a purchase. Business transaction. Okay. Back on the plane. Land wherever you're going. Land at the warehouse. And then you wait for your buyer. You tell your buyer, you know when you're going to be there. So your buyer can be standing there ready to take delivery. So was it in Ghana? Is that where they did this? No, because he verified it was there before it left. So somewhere in the process, someone stole it. Now, I noticed a lot of times when you buy precious metals from certain places, For example, Gainesville Coins. They do this for sure. You'll get a shipment, USPS, Postal Service. It's heavy, but it says something like, Joe's Plumbing Service. And gives you some address, not the same address that their store location is, a different address. So that any postal office worker is going to think, oh, this is like a piece of a, pipe wrench or a heavy plumbing part, okay. They're not going to want to look into it. But when you have a ton of gold sitting in front of people who make probably nothing, minimum wage workers standing there supposedly, we got our best guys on it, minimum wage workers, they'll never think about stealing this stuff. No way. Do you know how much money they would get just for one of these bars of gold? They just, oh man, there's a pile of gold here. Let's just take a few bars. And then another guy comes in, well, if you're doing it, I'm doing it. Well, if you're doing it, then I'm doing it too. Well, damn, guys, that's a lot of gold. All right, someone go find some regular old metal. We'll take the tops of bars off, dump it in there. We'll put it back on. They'll never know it was us. All right, sounds good. Have a nice day. Done. This is why I used to say, been a long time, get your gold and silver now before all this stuff really starts happening. Like when everyone starts doing this, when you hear that it's a common occurrence, oh, another shipment of fake gold, oh, another such and such. You don't want to have to deal with that. The good news is, for you and I, the people watching these videos that I do, what's the most that any of you probably have in silver? Honestly, the most one of my subscribers happens to have. I'll be nice and say a few thousand ounces of silver. That's probably possibly true. A few thousand ounces of silver is not worth these people's times over there when they're messing with all this gold and stuff. And we're buying it by the ounce. There's too much work involved in trying to fake 1 silver ounce times all this amount. Especially when you're buying silver eagles from reputable dealers. They're made at the U.S. Mint. The dealers get them from the U.S. Mint. There's really no chance of that becoming a fraud or you being, cheated. So it's going to turn into who has the real metal and who doesn't. And I am going to also say you're going to ultimately start to see a common occurrence later on down the road. Citizens may do it. Precious metals dealers may do it. But absolutely countries are going to do it. Let's start drilling into all these bars that we get from now on. That's going to be the common theme in the near future, I believe. So, another interesting story. Gold once again, fake bars, etc. Take care.